Wildcats. On behalf of the class of 74 alumni, it is with great pleasure and excitement that I get the honor to welcome you to our 50-year class reunion.
Take a ride, there's a party over there that ain't no job. It's live, it's all the way live. Don't even have to walk, don't even have to drive. Just slide, slippity slide. Just forget about the troubles in your 9 to 5 and just sail on. That's what you do, just sail on. Now the dude's so funky, hey, what do you think? What is it called? It's called a lakeside stank. Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage.
We wanna take you on a cruise all around the land. Music is at hand. We wanna play it for you. You see, want to be. We want to be a crew of entertainers. Jam to the music, to the beat. Jam, yeah. Don't let nothing restrain.
I didn't mind that, that was cool. Good evening, Flint Northwestern class of 1974. It's a pleasure being up here. It's a pleasure being here. Thank God for giving us this opportunity to come together again and just praise on each and every one of us. Some are not here, but we love them just as much. I have the esteemed opportunity tonight to introduce our speaker for this evening. And he's one of us. And when I say one of us, that means he's from the class of 1974. This individual has displayed some beautiful talents over the last 50 years. My remembrance of this individual started in the fall of 1972 when we came upon Northwestern High School. This individual, upon the others, and he's a musician. And when I say that he's a musician, I mean he's a musician, I mean the guy has talents. But what enticed me so much about our speaker is that he has done some excellent things. He left Northwestern, he went to Adrian College and studied music, but he only stayed there 2 years. He transferred to Indiana University and finished his bachelor's degree in music. Gerald Savage has done some excellent things, played with some excellent artists throughout this country. He's had the opportunity to play with one of my favorites was Al Hudson in One Way, So when you're playing with Al, that means you're playing with somebody. He's also had the opportunity to be and travel, I'm not gonna say this country, I'm gonna say travel this world. This individual has traveled to 30 countries. Damn, I only been to the United States and Canada, But when we were trying to select a speaker for this reunion, I think our committee agreed that, we had selected definitely an excellent person to give us a view of his life. So, without further ado, what we're going to do this evening is give you an opportunity to hear this man with another musician from the class of 1974, Brother Zeke Hill, and going to play a little music. But let me say this before I leave. One thing that I have really loved about Northwestern, and especially when we came to Northwestern in 72, 73, and 74, we had a good band. We had a good band. When I got to college and started seeing HBCU bands, we had some individuals that could have definitely played in those bands. Zach is a prime example. Alabama, I'm gonna say Alabama State, and I hope I'm right. But when I used to see those bands, especially in the fall, when we got ready to have a football game, whether we were playing at Atwood Stadium or we were playing at Houston Stadium, the band would get prepared to march from the high school over to the stadium. They had on their dress greens. They had on their hats. But you know what really set them off? They had them white spats on. And I loved them white spats because I knew that when I went in that locker room, I was getting my shoes taped so I could have some white spats on also. So without further ado, I would like to bring you our classmate. Class of 74, we got a birthday tonight, and I would be wrong if I failed to not mention it. Happy birthday, Carolyn Taylor. Williams. We've been hanging since the 6th grade. Class, guest, Gerald Savage.
Good evening. The first thing I want to do is speak on behalf of my brother, Zachary Hill. It's Alcorn State. Okay. And I don't know what the HBCU competition thing is all about, but I know that he wants that known, so I'm going to make sure he does that. First of all, I want to thank Doug and the entire staff for this amazing weekend. So let's give it up to them. And also, let's give it up to the Genesis staff for providing such hospitality. So let's make sure we do that today. So tonight is going to be celebration, and first I also want to talk about Carla, because did you see her go into her teacher mode there for a minute? She says, okay, can everybody please get yourself that? And then Michael Warner, who I am just so happy to see Michael, my brother Michael Warner. And then she looks at him and Mr. Hewitt, you guys remember Mr. Hewitt. Those of you who are in the marching band remember Mr. Hewitt? Who remembers Mr. Hewitt? Who was in the marching band when Mr. Hewitt was here? So Mr. Hewitt was our band director when we first went to Northwestern. And some of the fondest memories I have is of Michael and Mr. Hewitt. It was an interesting dynamic. So it was just delightful to see Carla go into her teacher mode there. And so we heard earlier today somebody was talking about stories and how everybody has a story. And so we're going to hear some stories tonight. I'm going to intertwine stories of my life and connect them with many of you who are in this room. And some of you, for instance, went to school with me from K all the way through 12. How many of you, raise your hand if we went to school together K through 12? There's a few of you. Yes, I mean, literally, there are some people in this room that we started at Martin Community School, and we went all the way to Northwestern High in 1974. So that's amazing. So I'm going to bring out a couple of notes here. I want to honor my mother and father, and I'm going to talk about their story. My father, Cleveland Savage, passed away when I was 6 months old, and my mother was the one who raised me by herself, never got married again, but man, she was the one who really set the groundwork for everything that's in my life now, believe me. So I want to honor them as we begin. I also want to give a shout out to some of my mothers. You know, I've had mothers other than my mother, and that, for instance, Miss Hill, Zegra's mom, was one of my mothers. Many of you know Earl Green, and Earl Green's mom, Miss Green, she's right now having some challenges, so I want to shout out to her as well. And one of my dearest mothers is Miss Nana Graham. And if you know Edmund Graham, his mom, that lady is something else, man. I'm telling you, she's like, wow. She's 94 years old, 94. And Miss Graham calls me up and leaves messages like this. Gerald, I was doing some research on the 1947 flood of the Mississippi River. And can you please do some research to find out what parishes in Louisiana were affected by the 1947 Mississippi flood? That's no lie. That's the truth. I couldn't make that up. And so then I would do the research, and then I call Miss Nana back. I call her Miss Nana. And I give her information. So shout out to her because she's amazing, and I'm so blessed to have her still in my life. And in fact, you know what's really interesting? And I would recommend, and I know many of you still do have elderly people. Now this is kind of a twist here, because I would recommend that everybody in here make sure you stay connected to the elders. The tricky part is that now we are the elders. You know what I'm saying? We are the elders, and and my daughter has to remind me of that because, I try to act like I'm young and try to stay youthful and vibrant. My daughter's like, Dad, you still old, So make sure that you keep elderly people in your life. That's so, so important. They have so much wisdom, and in the case of people like Miss Nana, so much history. I mean, there's so much history there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the piano here. Last night, Carla and I hadn't seen each other, of course, since 1919. See what I'm saying? The elderly part. 5 years ago. And during that time, we got a chance to reconnect. And then last night we were talking, and she was mentioning, which is the truth, she said, how beautiful everybody is. She said, we are really, really blessed. And then she said, we came this far by faith. I said, there you go.